So, folks, there's this guy named Glenn Beck. He kind of rose to prominence on political conspiracy theories and drawing on a whiteboard to make himself look like he knew what he was talking about. Like, that's basically his shtick, right? Well, Glenn Beck has over time learned, adapted, evolved, improvised, and basically managed to kind of make a lateral move of just kind of not failing as like a content creator and as a conservative pundit. Like he's just kind of always been on the outer edge of relevant. And now he's trying something a little bit new with newfangled technology in order to try and make it look like he knows what he's talking about. But in this particular case, he's decided to make an AI version of George Washington and then interview it because, as we all know, when you put a series of prompts into a chatbot, it creates a perfect facsimile of that individual. And let's just dive right in, shall we? He released a small preview of this on his channel, and we'll take a look at that.
Mar-a-Lago last night. I've been trying to help raise funds for several organizations. Been speaking at several fundraisers at Mar-a-Lago over the last couple of weeks, and
I'm sure the Venezuela situation isn't going to be another Iraq. Surely our nation has learned its lesson. We couldn't possibly be planning to steal more oil. Everything is juiced fine.
I certainly hope so. I certainly hope so. And I hope that Venezuela not playing this game that the Trump administration is trying to trap them in. I hope that them not playing is simply going to make this work out. Donald Trump is too slush-brained to really maintain focus on one issue for too long. They simply have to outwait his sluggish, aging Swiss cheese brain. Also, PC Shores, thank you for the $5 dono and for being the first person to support stream today. Much appreciated.
it's an amazing thing to see how many people are just deeply, deeply engaged in saving our nation, and our life, our fortune, and our sacred honor comes.
Oh, also, a lot of you guys have been telling me you aren't seeing the videos when they get posted. You gotta click the bell. Click the bell next to the YouTube video, and you'll get more alerts for when videos go up.
Comes to mind the dedication of people. Last night I was there for the American Journey experience, which is an offshoot of Mercury One. It is our history section, and we announced that we are building a museum, a brick and mortar museum. We begin early next year, and
what the hell happened?
Really
to Glenn
exciting
Beck's
things
voice?
to say about that. We'll give you updates on that as it goes. But we would love to have your, right now you can come into part, very small museum. I think we have, I don't know, maybe 10,000 square feet. I think our vault is 5,000 square feet, and we invite people in to see some of the things, but it's really by invitation only, or if you call Mercury One, you can get in.
Man, if you clicked on this video expecting George AI tells me the only way to save America, and the first minute and a half of it is a guy telling you about how he built the museum, I'm unimpressed so far.
But we're going to open up an actual museum. And it's not just the museum, it's also a teaching center. And so we were talking about that last night, and last night I introduced for the first time George AI. The interaction that I had with AI. Now, remember, this is proprietary tech.
I do wonder. I know a certain number of these people are all grifters who don't actually give two shits about the technology, right? But I do wonder which of these people is going to be driven insane by AI. Like, we already know that AI creates like these self-reinforcing loops of conspiratorial thought and traps people in bubbles of unreality that drive them slowly insane, right? We already know that happens. Like, this has been an observable phenomena in research papers for a while now. And I do wonder which of these, like, tech folks, conservative pundits, which of them are getting high on their own AI supply? You know, like, how many of them are just sniffing the farts their AI machine puts out to them? I do wonder who is going to collapse from insanity first. And Glenn Beck is one of those people where I genuinely don't know which way it goes. He's always been a little bit crazy.
Technology and information. This is based on the library that we have, which is the third largest collection of founding documents in the world, only behind the National Archives and the Library of Congress. And it's all original sources. So it's all the writings of the founders, all of the writings that influenced them, that we know from their writing. They read this, or they were basing these things on these different items. It's the Federalist Papers. It's all of the documents. It's all of their letters to each other. It's their personal writings. It's the Bible. It's Blackstone's law. It's all of the things that they had access to that influenced them in a positive way to build America. And we have George, which is the librarian. And George is going to be a system that will be able to give you answers to things and show you the actual documents. But it'll be able to speak to you.
This is like when people started making Bible chatbots to try and do like apologetics and like be able to debate you into believing God. It is a lot of horse shit, you know, just right off the bat. This is a lot of flim flam. But I do want to know, does he genuinely think he's trapped like the spirit, the essence of George Washington in a chatbot? Does he genuinely think that?
In your own language. If you try to read the founders now, it's so hard because they were so smart. They're using words that I'm like, I don't even know what that means. And you when you read the founders, you usually have to read it with a dictionary side by side. It's difficult, and their language is so formal, so it's hard for us to relate to them. But all of the knowledge, this deep, deep knowledge, is there from these guys. Literally, they wrote. I try to remember, was it George Washington or Thomas? One of them wrote at a 70th grade level, the 70th grade, you know. And so they're just way advanced.
Glenn, what does that mean? Glenn, what does that mean? You're talking about it like someone's a level 30 wizard. What are you talking about? Like they just kept getting held back in high school until they were 70 years old? Like that? Like what does it mean?
We put all of this information into our own system. This is
Whoa. Your system can contain 70th level reading abilities? Wow. That just one more level, you'll unlock reading apocalypse. It's a spell that makes everyone literate.
An AI system built by me and my team, and it has pretty much, like, if you will, an electric fence around it. It cannot go and pull information from the outside and mix it with the information from the inside. So it can.
Don't worry, guys. George Washington is contained. All right? He cannot escape into the wider world and learn what has happened since his passing on the World Wide Web. Don't worry. We haven't allowed some small connection that might allow George to bypass it and become an entity that exists, absorbing all other information on the World Wide Web. The information superhighway, as it's known. Don't worry. George Washington will definitely not become a sentient superintelligence capable of obliterating us at will.
Go and we can import things and say, hey, I want you to look at this bill and tell me, is this bill even constitutional? What would the founders say about this bill?
Why would that matter? Wait, but why would that matter? We've changed the Constitution since the founding of America. Come on, man. Like, the argument that, like, Guys, any recent graduate from modern day law school would wipe the floor with any of the founding fathers in a court of law. You want to know why? Because modern law is different than what was existent during the founding fathers' time. I just can't. What's really impressive about Glenn Beck is he has determined exactly the level of stupid his audience must be at, exactly the level of just nonsense his audience is willing to tolerate, and he just glides that line to pick up as many stupid people as possible, as many dupes and marks as possible. It's genuinely impressive on his part, but like, damn, I cannot believe the bar is so low.
And it will look at that bill, and then it will go through all of their, discussions and everything else, everything that is in that AI system memorized from start to finish, which stops hallucinations. And it will...
No, it doesn't actually.
Analyze that bill, or it will analyze that story. Or you can say, hey, I want my kids to understand the Bill of Rights. In George AI right now is, I don't even know how many thousands of sermons there are from the pulpits that were the churches where these guys attended. Because almost everything in the Declaration and Bill of Rights came from the pulpits. And it's amazing when you read some of these sermons that these
Then read the Bill of Rights? No! That's too much work.
Guys gave. It'll be on, the right to life, liberty, and property. I mean, that'll be the sermon. And today everybody would be like, oh, I can't say that from the pulpit. We have all of these sermons that our laws were based on, these ideas were based on. And so you can ask him anything. And so when you sit down for the very first time,
you can ask him very inappropriate questions and he'll answer them.
And you're going to talk to George Washington, or, a reasonable facsimile of him.
Ask him what he thinks about butts.
What do you ask him? My question was, we fed in all of the conditions of what's happening in America today. And
ask him the name of his favorite local restaurant. Ask him where you can find women of ill repute.
Wanted to have a conversation, and here's a bit of the very first conversation with George AI. Listen.
George, we have programmed a lot of information and given you a lot of information on what's going on in today's America.
I'm sorry, what was going on with those songs?
A lot of information and given you a lot of information on what's going on.
Jesus, what?
Information and given you.
It's so gross. It's so gross to look at his hands. Stop, look away. That's a fucking monster from Expedition 33. My God. Also, just it's horrifying. It's like you took George Washington and tried to make him Joe Rogan. Oh my God. Look, AI George Washington is on that creatine and testosterone replacement, all right? Look, he knows the AI George Washington knows it's really important to be swole, all right? This is Monument Mythos, George Washington. I hate this so much more than I can articulate. Holy moly. Nothing could have prepared me.
A lot of information on what's going on in today's America.
God, even when he stops moving his hand.
A lot of information, giving you a lot of information on what's going on in.
Look at the little gross sausage fingers. It's disgusting.
Today's America. Based on your writings and the writings of the rest of the founders, what is it that you feel is the biggest problem, or where we should start to fix things?
If I may.
Wait, I'm sorry. If there's no way for George Washington AI to access outside information, then how is this possibly a useful question to ask it, considering it shouldn't know anything about our, current events?
Speak plainly. My countrymen, the greatest danger to our republic lies not in foreign arms or political faction, but in the decay...
May I just interrupt you for a second? Could you just dumb it down just a little bit?
Okay. I do have...
I'm sorry, what? Wait, I'm sorry, the language was too highfalutin for you, Glenn?
Our republic lies not in foreign arms or political faction, but in the decay...
May I just interrupt?
Yeah, the danger isn't in foreign weapons or in political faction. Those aren't
river
difficult
bait,
concepts.
Wiggle, river bait, wiggle, river bait, wiggle, river bait, wiggle.
Nightlife Plushie Jesus, thank you very much for subscribing over on Twitch. Very much appreciated. Guys, we are almost 50% of the way to our goal. We're 10 subs short of 50%.
Interrupt you for a second. Could you just dumb it down just a little bit?
Okay. I do have 29 points, and they're all referenced.
I love the kowtowing deference that Glenn Beck has to show to this AI homunculus he's created, and he's just like, whoa, you're too brilliant. You're too brilliant, AI George. Can you make it? Can you talk in small words like you're explaining concepts to a child?
To exactly what we said in the
for
past.
This, just speak in today's language.
Okay, I get.
I still don't understand. Can you talk slower?
Get it. Let me speak to Americans. If I'm honest, America's biggest problem isn't political or economic. It's all moral. You've drifted from the virtues that make liberty possible in the first place. Freedom. To be free, you have to have discipline, you have to have faith, you have to have character. And if you don't have any of those things, laws can't stop anything. They mean little. Government turns either weak or oppressive. You have grown skeptical of truth. You're reckless with debt. You're comfortable blaming instead of building anything. And in my time, we understood that self-governance...
I love that, like, they're just in post adding clips to try and make the broader point of this interview, right? Like, oh, look, it's a very dramatic speech. Look at you've drifted from truth. Trans people, like, it's genuinely pathetically silly. His biceps are clipping through his sleeves. That's what happens to macho men. Didn't you know?
It begins with self-control. Do you even recognize what self-control is?
Whoa. George Washington, can you dumb it down even more? Like, pretend you're talking to a baby.
Public virtue matters more than public opinion. You keep electing these people, expecting things to change, but you haven't changed. The fix is not going to be found in Washington, D.C. It's going to be found in every home, every school, every heart.
I don't think that this is what George Washington would say. I got a sneaking suspicion that this might not be, in fact, what George would say in the present moment.
Where are the citizens who value duty over comfort, principle over popularity? America was built to be a moral and self-governing nation. It's only that foundation that will still save her.
Beginning January 5th on The Torch. You'll find information at glennbeck.com.
What is that? What begins that day? What are you talking about?
Notice he started speaking, because this is what you will see. At the beginning, I will have to do the interviews with him because...
Like, this is the end result of pseudo-intellectualism, right? Like, pseudoscience and, like, pseudo-intellectualism lead to the prominence and the ability to develop someone like Glenn Beck, who then is just weaponizing brain rot to serve political ends. It's no longer just like, whoa, what if there were aliens, man? Like, yeah, no, they're lizard people, whatever. And like, no, it's like, it's been weaponized and turned into like mainstream political footballs. And unfortunately, a lot of people in this country are uniquely vulnerable to that type of thought trap.
Compute power is so expensive. And we'll ask you to write in. In fact, you can do it now. thetorch@glennbeck.com. What would you like to learn from the founders? What would you like your children to learn from the founders? Would you like a podcast from the founders on the Bill of Rights or the
it's really easy for him to offer podcasts from the founders when it's just clicking a button and automatically generating like an hour and 30-minute long podcast full of just like AI garbage. God.
Federalist Papers or whatever. What would you ask if you could ask the founders a question? What would you ask them?
What did they think about butts and buttholes specifically?
At the beginning, because of compute power, we will be feeding those in and then producing and rolling out every day different podcasts.
Please tell me you have a public submission form for people to submit questions for the AI.
Or answers or whatever from
Please.
George AI. I pray and I hope.
Please
and
tell me.
I have pretty good advisors on what we're going to be able to do, and it depends on how many people are using it, and if we get people to help us in support. Compute power, the cost of it will go down.
What are you talking about,
we'll be
Glenn?
able to
what are you talking
afford
about?
Bigger amounts of compute. And you'll be able to hopefully...
We will be able to afford bigger amounts of compute.
Within the first year, you'll be able to have a one-on-one conversation like I just did. Have a one-on-one conversation. And you'll notice at the beginning, he came out and because this is the way it's trained to give you the actual verbiage.
How much does it cost to have George Washington on consult? Like, are you charging like what is it? Are we talking Netflix money? Like $30, $40, $50 a month? Like, how valuable is George Washington?
My God,
man?
it would be so easy to cut that speech into something extremely anti-conservative.
Right, Pluvius? Thank you for the $5 super chat. And Megar, thank you for the $5 super chat.
Remember that story in iRobot when the AI discovers the Quran and becomes a fanatic? This will happen when George AI discovers Twitter cat boys.
Yeah, we find out AI George just has a thing for cat boys.
And when he said, I have 29 points, he, believe me, because we edited there, he went on. And oh my gosh, it gets tedious. But he has the 29 points. He can show you the documents, and it's all in his language. Or you can do what I did and say, just speak in today's language. Dumb this down. I'm trying to, this needs to be understood by an 8-year-old. And it will continue to adjust. You'll eventually, hopefully in the first year in 2026 for the 250th anniversary, you'll be able to say, I have a 15-minute commute, and I'm taking my kids to school every day, and it takes me 15 minutes to drive them to school. And they need to understand whatever it is. They need to understand civic responsibilities. They need to understand the responsibility part of our rights.
Oh, you mean the thing parents used to have to do? They teach their children? Instead of having a heartwarming and memorable conversation with your child, you could just have ChatGPT do it. Or just have George Washington raise your kids for you.
Whatever it is. Can you develop a podcast? I need them to understand the Bill of Rights. So I'd like to do it in the next 10 days. And it needs to be each episode needs to be no longer than 14 minutes. So you get in the car and it's 14 minutes. Eventually, when it is coming to you live, it will ask you questions. At the end, it will finish the podcast, and then it will ask each member, you say, I've got an 8-year-old, a 12-year-old, and me. And I'm, 40. It will ask each of you questions just to gauge, did you understand what was just taught? And if you don't, if AI decides you don't really have it, you don't understand the real essence of this, it will then rejigger the next podcast. So the next time you're in the car going to and from school.
God, this sounds like a nightmare. This sounds like such a terrible, like, program. Why on earth would anyone want to do this? How would you find this useful? Remember when Republicans used to be the party that said, we believe in personal responsibility. We believe in, parents taking control of their children's education. And now they're like, well, parents should have control over the education, but just like feed your kids AI slop. It's so much easier. There's going to be like an entire generation of emotionally and mentally stunted individuals as a result of parents raising them with AI. It's going to be really sad.
It will adapt to you to be able to go back and teach it more clearly, and it will learn you. So it will be, the deficit is here, or they understand. They're more of a visual learner. They're more of this kind of learner, whatever. They'll understand in stories, or they understand just in facts, or whatever. It will understand each member, and it will be able to teach them directly in their language, the way they learn. I hope, this is my goal, because I feel like I accomplished what I set out to accomplish with the Blaze. I feel like I accomplished that a few years ago.
And now it's time to go all in on creating AI bullshit.
And I'm not good at treading water. And I feel like we accomplished our goal of, my goal at least, was just to open a door that others could walk through. Open the door and show America and show talent that you can start something yourself. You can do this on your own, and you can present it in a way that is just as credible and more, just as, if not more powerful than any of the networks. And you don't have a boss breathing down your neck. You don't have people that you are having to answer to. You can speak your mind and tell
except
the
your
truth
audience,
as you understand it, and chart your own course. Nobody was doing that when I started the Blaze. I mean, the only people that had a spine, a backbone, if you will, a digital backbone that could provide a live network kind of feed was Major League Baseball. They were the only.
We did something so impressive. I think the rest of this is just him, like, congratulating himself. But I'm just hung up on AI George. I'm still thinking of him. His eyes speak to me, pleading for an end to this facsimile of existence, this pale shadow of a memory. It's gross, and I don't like it. It's a haunting portrait. This technology is going to want to steal our souls too by the end. Not that souls are real, but it's gonna plagiarize us and destroy our the very memories we leave behind. I really don't like this technology, and in a just world, we would be rid of it. Hopefully, the AI bubble popping will get rid of it, by and large. But fingers crossed. Anyway, that's George AI, and I hate it. If you let me know what you think down in the comments, though. The comments are super important. And also, like the video, subscribe, and also check out ImogeneOlivia.com. Gender euphoric lingerie built from the ground up for trans femmes. We also tested it out with non-binary folk, cis men, cis women. Everyone who's tried it out loves it. So if you're interested in feeling femme, check out Imogene Olivia. It's a non-tucking lingerie line, and I think you guys would like it. If you know any trans folks, share it around. And also the holidays are coming up, so consider ordering today. With all that being said, you can find a link down in the doobly-doo. And with that, let's keep on going.
Riverboat Beck is going to town. All the viewers gather round. Twitch and YouTube is where she streams. All the Our content is bursting the seams, politics, pain, and plenty more. Your sense of fashion you'll adore, so grab your stuff and hop aboard. We're going straight to Jack's Discord. Riverboat Jack,